Next is the Police and Fire Committee, Chairman James Reed.
Thank you, Mayor. Captain Steele just came up, our Chief Steele just came up and covered one of the things I was going to bring up. That's fine, though. That's what I wanted to. That's what I wanted to happen. I wanted that information out here, and Howard Technologies will come here and do all the install. They'll do the debug. This is going to be a good situation. There were 3 bidders, and Howard was the preferred, and they were the lowest. So this is all good, especially us getting a grant. Do have one other thing for fire. I'd like to congratulate our newest captain, Engineer Jeremy Fields. This afternoon was promoted to captain. He'll move to A group. That's correct. And I want to congratulate now Captain Jeremy Fields.
Thank you. Any other input for police and fire? Anyone? See none, we'll move on to the Community Development Committee. Chairman Ed Long.
Very good, thank you. I have one item on this agenda tonight for this. Last month I informed the council that I would ask Alicia to be here tonight to kind of introduce herself and give us a little bit of insight into who she is, and she has graciously agreed to do that. Alicia?
Your new Economic Development Director for the City of Cabot. Got it. Better. So people wanted me to talk about myself.
Okay. You guys sitting up here, I appreciate the effort that you do in your communities, the service that you do. It makes our job at the Arkansas Economic Development Commission a lot easier when we get a good group, and the group from Cabot's been one of the best that we've worked with in the past. I will tell you this, the mayor kind of ran a little interference on you guys. He's already sat through a 2-hour class of mine on some of the same subject I'm doing. I'm going to go through it a whole lot faster for you guys. I'm going to use this slide up here. I don't know if you guys can see it or not. Can we get the lights turned down a little bit? And what I'm going to be talking about tonight is what's a marketable site. The reason that we were going to talk about that is because you need to have an understanding of what goes on kind of on my side and for you guys too. So one of the things that you realize, first you've got to have a marketable community. You guys are great. It's easy to market Cabot. I can already tell you that. Now, the thing is that on marketing, it's not just about a marketing land. It's marketing about the rest of your community. We've got a program called the Competitive Community Initiative, the CCI, and you have to have a economic development organizational structure. You guys have that. We've got Alicia back there as a paid professional. Since you guys are doing this, you need to figure out how you can go in and probably put some really good funding in this, because there's going to come a time when we're working with a prospect that you're going to be asked to add to a project. One of the first things we look at is workforce. And I mean, like I said, this is a great community. And then product readiness. And product readiness, what it is a shovel-ready site. And we're missing a little bit on the top up there, but hopefully you'll be able to see that well enough. And a shovel-ready site means that it's ready to go. We don't have to do anything. And we're going to talk a little bit. I've given you a handout, kind of some of the things that we look at. I'm not going to go through all that tonight about all the studies and all the things that they typically do on those, because it just takes too much time, and we would be into the 2 hours pretty quick. One of the things that we do, and Alicia has done, and in the past, Amy Williams is our new community developer for this area, and she has kept up a great job in keeping your properties on the database, and Alicia's is doing just as well, coming in behind her and working with us. But on our sites, we have to have all of our available properties. Now, I know that at some points we do not have everything, but when I did it, I only got about 80%. So you guys are doing well in your community. The reason that we have to have things on the website, and it's not just the person like Alicia's job, if you see anything out there that's available, talk to her about it. If we don't have it on our website, it doesn't exist to us. I drive through the communities and check on things all the time, but we need your help in the community. So we partner with Entergy Arkansas. They own the website, and again, the communities are responsible for putting everything on that database. And in that database, we don't do residential, but in our communities, to be a healthy community, you have to have commercial, industrial, office, and residential. So the first three can go in our database. The residential, we don't, but the thing is, to be a healthy community, again, that you've got to have that. Now, the thing is as you look at sites, or a community looks at sites, it may be that a site that was thought of as an industrial park. I taught a class one time, and they were bound to determine they had an industrial park. And when we got done, they built a park and residential out of it. So, sometimes you got to really go in and look at what you've got. So you got to have a fit for purpose in your community. Prospects are looking at three things: money, risk, and speed. And we're going to talk about that as I go through these slides tonight. So keep that in mind. You need to develop a vision, a plan for your developments. Make sure your infrastructure is adequate and has room to grow. If we go out and develop an industrial park and you've got just the minimum size of the water and sewer out there, then you have no room to grow or to expand your businesses. You've got to have the zoning and permitting ordinances in place and up to date and business friendly. In the class that I had talked before, we talked about a community that was not business friendly, and it took 6 months to get a building permit. That's just really not acceptable. So, it's just, we've got to, you don't want to, sacrifice the community look and the feel of the community, but on the other hand, you've got to streamline your information. You need to establish a community with a first-rate quality of life. You guys have got that. Again, I'm coming back to that one over and over again. You got one point of contact. We've got that now. So you guys are flying on that. I want you to take your blinders off and look at your community as an outsider. That's key. My wife and I have gone to several places on vacation this last 2 weeks, and actually we were in Newport at the Blue Bridge Delta Art Show. And in some of our communities, we don't realize what's going on. We don't see things. So what I want to challenge you guys to do is look at your community differently. Look at it as a tourist. Come in there, spend the day as a tourist going around looking at stuff, and that will make you a better community. Now, one of the things that we're going to look at is that property has to be available. Not only does it have to be on our website, but we need to make sure that, we do have the information on it. The site has to have a set price. A prospect may expect land for free, and we have, if the city owns it, there could be an issue with that. That's why we've got to figure out some funding, and you guys will need to look at that. Some of our communities do different things. Some of them have an economic development tax, and I'm not here to tell you that you should do that. I'm just telling you that you got to know what your competition's doing out there. If we go up to Big River Steel up at Osceola, they put millions of dollars in that because they had an economic development tax, and they could go do it. So if you do not have a steady stream where you can put into projects, what's going to happen is that you may lose it because you didn't have something to put into it. And it could be in kind. It could be work. It could be roads. It could be a parking lot. It could be anything out there that you would put into a project. And that's money to a prospect. Again, they're looking at that bottom line. When a prospect comes in and the consultant is looking at it too, what happens is that they get paid on the money that they save a lot of times. So that's money for the prospect and the consultant. Zoning ordinance, master plan, restrictive covenants protect the site and the surrounding property. I see all too often that a community will go in and develop an industrial park and there's residential that butts right up to it. There's a community that I used to live in that they've got a 300,000 square foot building out there and they built residential right up to it, and now you can hear the fork trucks beeping at night. These companies want to come in and be good corporate citizens. So keep that in mind as you guys are developing and growing your community, because it takes all types of development to make you a good, strong community. Sites should not conflict with surrounding property or community growth. And you can see in this that this plant manager can actually get up on the top of this slide next door to him and look at his roof. That's not a good thing. Money, possible risk, and speed to market. The site must be compatible with growth and development. So if you've got residential next to an industrial park, it can kill the industrial park, and it'll probably kill the residential too. The commercial and office and schools and parks. You know, the one thing that you don't want to do is have to drive through an industrial park to get to an industrial park to go by a school or a park. You don't want to put the kids at jeopardy. So, you know, when you're looking at that, think about how you're going to get into a place. I know that you guys are reworking a lot of your transportation right now, and that's great. It's proactive for the community, and I applaud you for that. The site must have a good configuration. So if we've got two 40-acre sites, what's going to work the best? Probably neither one of these, because I have a power line running up through the diagonal, and the other one, you can look up there and just see where it's just all kind of helter-skelter. You don't have a true 40-acre site. So just a good, solid block without any encumbrances is what you need. Appearance of the site must be acceptable and maintained. This is just a big problem right here. I mean, you never know what's been dumped out there. There could be lead-based paint. There could be asbestos. It's a mess when you start looking at this. So it's good to keep after, and I know that you guys do, because this community is good and clean. Cemeteries don't need to be adjacent to the site. Those can be hazardous landfills. There's all kinds of heavy metals. They made these things out of zinc and lead-based welds and those type of things when they would go in there, so the water leaches in. And you just don't think of a cemetery being a hazardous landfill, but they are. And when we start looking at companies coming in, people like China and Japan, they don't want to be next to these things. You can drive by one to go into the site. It doesn't even have to be on the site, and they'll say, we'll go somewhere else. Money, there should be good proximity to transportation, interstate, airports, rail, port. You guys are close enough that you're going to hit all of these marks. This is 167 is going to be an interstate shortly out there. The port's not that far away. Rail runs through your town. I don't know that we would have a rail served site here, but there's rail here. We get into a lot of information with that. Airports, you're close enough to Little Rock that it's going to be great. Should be good transportation to the site. This is a risk. Transportation should not impact the site. As you can see this, the railroad runs right along that. It's going to be difficult to turn off a road into that site, so you're going to get trucks stacking up. We don't want that. We don't want it to be a public hazard in our community. So we don't want any dumps or landfills adjacent to the site or in the site, because again, we don't know what's there. We would hate for it to be a Superfund site. I know where there are several in this state. Site should have all utilities in place. If not, we should have cost estimates and a timeline of completion. It's a risk if you do not have utilities to the site, because somebody is going to have a completely ready. That's why we want a shovel-ready site. We want all the utilities there. We want our capacities that we can use there. You know, it may be that, you know, you've got a good capacity of water and sewer in your community, but if you don't have the right line size, or it's maybe on the wrong side of town, then you may not have the capacity on a particular piece of property. That's why it's key to have your water and sewer people on board and working with your community. Fire protection must be available to the site. You know, if the site's on the wrong side of the railroad and we can't get over there and you don't have a fire station over there, it could be a serious problem and risk. We want a slope of 5% or less. You can see this is kind of a hill. The reason we want a 5% slope or less, because if you build a big enough building, you don't want to have 20 foot of fill on one end to fill it in there. We want to be able to go in, and 5% typically will give us truck docks. We want the site out of the 100-year floodplain and free of wetlands. You guys actually lost a project probably 20 years ago that I worked on because another community looked at a floodplain map and said, this site's in the floodplain. And so we did get lucky enough to keep them in the state, but they were coming to Cabot. And then because of that site that you guys were marketing at that time, because of wetland that was on it, and of course the community was saying, well, you know, it's just going to get up on the tires, you know, a little bit on the trucks, which was true. But our communities that are outside of the state will use it against us. We want a hard surface access to it, so we don't want necessarily a gravel in there. We want to make sure it looks really good. There's some really good examples in the state that you can go around and look at. This is Pine Bluff. I mean, they've done a great job. They've got a 4-lane access out at the port. So I'm winding down a little bit. On your handout that I've got, I think this is the last part, we want a soil analysis. We want to make sure what kind of soils that you've got there. There is a clay fault that runs diagonally through the state. We want to make sure we stay across from that. We want a wetland determination to see if there are wetlands out there. Archaeological survey, there are Indian stuff all over this state that I dig up airheads in my front yard sometimes in my garden. And then endangered species. I don't think you guys have got any of that. They've spent millions of dollars at XNA Airport in Northwest Arkansas protecting a blind darter that nobody's seen. But it's there, so it's an endangered species. Pick a site that's going to give you a competitive advantage. You know, if you pick a site that you've got to go through the middle of town, that's not a competitive advantage at all. What we want is we want good interstate access, we want good utilities to it, we want a flat buildable site with no floodplain and no 100-year, with no floodways or wetlands on the thing. But that's it kind of in a nutshell. I went through it really fast. Again, if you really want to be a glutton for punishment, I'll come back and teach you the full 2 hours if you guys want to. But the thing is that this is a great community. In our communities, what we have to have is all types of sites to be successful. When I lived at Maumelle, they even said that to be successful, they had to have a cemetery, so they put a cemetery in Maumelle. That's true. You have to have all types of developments within your community. So you guys are doing a great job. I know that part of your board has gone, or your board has gone through CDI, and I commend you for that. And if the rest of you guys could go through that, that would be a great thing too. But that's it, Mayor. If you guys have any questions, I'll try to answer them. It's, like I said, it was pretty quick going through this.
Anyone have any questions for Steve? Chairman?
Steve's a great resource. Steve, I appreciate you coming.
Okay.
Some of us on this council have been through your classes at CDI. Some that are not here tonight have been through them. You do a great job up there as well, but you're a great resource for Cabot, and I appreciate you being here tonight. Thank you.
Okay. Anytime you need me, you guys call.
Thank you, sir. Have a safe trip back. Any other items for community development?
That'll end mine. Thank you.
The one thing I do have, and Ed and I discussed this today, is if the bond does pass, or what parts of it pass for special projects, I have reached out, and I have Brian Burrows, who used to be the Public Works Director, that would be our special projects director, that would lessen the cost of some of the GC costs on these projects and give us more control in-house. So I wouldn't be coming to the council until after the bond passed to see if we could hire him. But if you see him floating in here or somewhere else in the next 2 months, I may be using him as a contractor, 1099 person to help me with some items as we're trying to set it up the way it needs to be set up. So I just want to let y'all know that, and let you know that we're planning as soon as we can to get things done. Next item, Military Affairs Committee, Chairman Ron Waymack. Thank you, sir. Anyone have any community input for the military affairs? Seeing none, it's now time for general community input. If there's any, please come up to the mic, state your name and if you live in Cabot, and we'll give you a couple minutes. Seeing none, we're going to go ahead and adjourn with a motion from council to go into our other council meeting.
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
Got a motion from James, a second from Ed. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Adjourned at 6:56. We'll take a 5-minute break. Thank you. Council meeting to order June 7th, 2021. We're going to start off by an opening prayer by Michael Jones. If you'd stand, then we'll follow up with the Pledge of Allegiance by Stephen Redd.
Let us pray. Dear Heavenly Father, thank you for allowing all of us to gather here tonight, and may the work that we do here be a reflection of your will, and as we leave here tonight, continue to reflect your will in our daily lives. Amen.
Amen. Thank you. You may be seated. Tammy, can you do the roll call for us, please?
Long,
Here.
Jones,
Here.
Red,
Here.
Hillenberg,
Here.
Cope. Here. Reed,
Here.
Weber,
Here.
Waymack.
Here.
Thank you, Tammy. All are present. Now the next item is a presentation to Bradley House, Eagle Scout recipient. If you want to come up, Bradley. Go over here in the middle so everybody can see it. This is a pretty big deal. How many years did it take you to get to the Eagle Scout?
3.
3 years. Well, you've worked real hard. Takes a lot of dedication. I got something here for you, a mayoral proclamation. And it says, whereas the mission of the Boy Scouts of America is to prepare young men to make ethical and moral choices over their lifetimes by instilling in them the values of the Scout Oath and Law. And the designation of the Eagle Scout as the highest achievement in the Boy Scouting program, which was founded in 1910, over 100 years ago, and only 8% of the Boy Scouts are granted this distinguished rank. And whereas Bradley House, a member of Boy Scout Troop 201 here in Cabot, Arkansas, has completed the requirements and was examined by the Eagle Scout Board of Review, which found him worthy of the rank of Eagle Scout on May 25th, 2021. And the Boy Scouts of America encouraged an Eagle Scout candidates to complete worthy projects to improve their neighborhoods and their communities. And whereas Bradley's Eagle Scout project consisted of crafting cat beds and hammocks for the Sherwood Animal Shelter. These beds were given to the owner when a cat was adopted, but also served as a staging quarantine area when they were first brought into the shelter. Whereas Bradley House serves an example to the youth of our community through his high level of personal achievement, leadership, community service, has made the city of Cabot very proud. So therefore, I, Ken Kincaid, Mayor of Cabot, do hereby recognize and congratulate you, Bradley, for your outstanding accomplishment and extend to you our deepest appreciation for all of your dedicated work, and we wish you the best in all your future endeavors. Congratulations. Now, do you have any extra cat hammocks? Mike, I think we need some. You might have to help us get some here in Cabot.
I could probably do that.
Yeah, we would love it. Thank you so much. Okay, next item is reading ordinances and resolutions by title only. Do I have a motion?
Make a motion, we read ordinances and resolutions by title only.
Second.
I got a motion by Ed, a second from Matt, to read ordinances and resolutions by title only. Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor, roll call vote, please, Tammy.
Long,
Yes.
Jones,
Yes.
Red,
Yes.
Hillenberg,
Yes.
Cope. Yes. Reed, Weber,
Yes.
Waymack.
Yes.
Passes 8-0. Next item, City Council old business. I don't have any. Does any of the council have any old business? Seeing none, we'll enter City Council new business. Item A, ordinance number 14 of 2021. Please, Tammy.
Ordinance number 14 of 2021, an ordinance to permit council members, officials, and/or municipal employees to do business with the city of Cabot, specifically Louis Chimino, and for other purposes. First reading.
And this has been something we've done for Louis, I don't know how many times. He's done business, doing stuff with the fire department. Have you seen on here T-shirts, shirts, sweatshirts, pants, work shirts, beanies, coins, CFD logos on station wear? Any action? Do we need any action?
I make a motion, we suspend the second and third reading.
I got a motion from Ed Long, a second from James Reed to suspend the second and third reading of ordinance number 14 of 2021. Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor, roll call vote, please, Tammy.
Coe,
Yes.
Reed,
Yes.
Weber,
Yes.
Waymack,
Yes.
Long,
Yes.
Jones,
Yes.
Red,
Yes.
Hillenberg.
Yes.
Passes 8-0.
Motion that we adopt ordinance number 14 of 2021.
I second.
I got adoption from Michael of ordinance 14 of 2021 and a second from Stephen Red. Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor for adoption of ordinance number 14 of 2021. Roll call vote, please, Tammy.
Coe,
Yes.
Reed,
Yes.
Weber,
Yes.
Waymack,
Yes.
Long,
Yes.
Jones,
Yes.
Red,
Yes.
Hillenberg.
Yes.
Passes 8-0.
Mayor, do we need the emergency clause on that? Chief, have you got something being held up?
For the next 30 days.
Somebody?
There's 4 invoices that are holding right now. I mean, it's not a matter of public safety or anything like that, it's just this financial. He does have to order several, he orders several stencils and all that kind of stuff, so if we could, the emergency clause would help him out
For the new
for new
new
firefighters that
recruits,
we've had. Yes, sir.
uniforms.
Yes, sir, we've got 3 new firefighters, and like I said, there's two invoices that are waiting right now, so it would help him out.
Would that
In
be
order
for the,
fire department to have continuity in their uniforms and the things those they need, then I make a motion that we adopt the emergency clause.
I'll second.
where did my second come from? That was a lot of them. Stephen. Okay, I got a motion from Ed, second from Stephen. Looks like it's unanimous. I ain't even voted yet, to adopt the emergency clause for ordinance number 14 of 2021. Any other discussion? All in favor, roll call vote, please, Tammy.
Coe,
Yes.
Reed,
Yes.
Weber,
Yes.
Waymack,
Yes.
Long,
Yes.
Jones,
Yes.
Red,
Yes.
Hillenberg.
Yes.
Thank you, passes 8-0. Next item, item B, ordinance number 15 of 2021, please, Tammy.
Ordinance number 15 of 2021, an ordinance to rezone part of 454 Diedrich Lane, City of Cabot, Lonoke County, Arkansas, from R-1 to O-1, amending the land use plan and for other purposes, first reading.
Yes, ma'am. Do you need the second and third reading waived? Waived?
No, I need it complete.
Okay, okay. Okay. When are you wanting to build on it?
Well, there's a building already on it that was a fitness center.
Okay,
The karate school. So
Okay.
it's a 5,000 square foot building.
okay. I didn't know if you were going to do some construction on it or what, or, okay,
I just want to sell the land
okay,
in the building.
okay. Any action from council?
May I ask a question?
Of course you can.
In the title, it says part of 454 Diedrich Lane. Is it being parceled out? I mean, what's happening with the property?
454 District Line?
Is there any part of 454 you're keeping, is what Councilman Weber is asking.
I just thought it was odd the way that it was worded, part of that address of the property.
We're going to get a legal opinion for you right now.
Are you talking about the description of the property?
No, ma'am.
It's not.
Yeah, I think that was in there because of the legal description. The legal description is part of the east half of the northeast first quarter. If you look at section 1 of the ordinance, it rezones the entirety of 454 Diedrich Lane. So if the council does pass this, the entirety of the address will be rezoned.
So he's talking about, Matt, right there on ordinance 15, 1, 2, 3rd, 4th paragraph down. The full legal description doesn't include part of. So do we need to amend the title, Ben? Or is it?
The title can be amended, yes, because, the actual operating clause of the ordinance, that section 1, it does rezone the entirety of it. That's the part that actually gives legal effect. But it would certainly not harm anything to remove that part of 454 Diedrich Lane, that word part from the title. That would be fine.
So we could say an ordinance to rezone 454 Diedrich Lane, instead of saying part of?
Just remove the word part, yes, sir.
So in the description, it actually describes the entire property. So it's not going to affect.
No, the legal description describes the entirety of the property. The section 1 of the ordinance rezones the entirety of the property, so it is dealing with the entirety of the property. Yes, sir.
But that was a good question, though. Real good question. So, council, do you want to restate the title or leave it as is?
I think the title's fine on this. I don't see any need in having to amend the title on it. If there's any corrections that need to be made on it, we've got an ordinance in place for the legal to be able to do that, as long as they don't change the overall meaning of it, and it wouldn't. It looks fine to me.
Okay.
The commercial buildings platted singly on the property, so that it shouldn't be a problem with that. It's a single plat. And it's been used as a commercial property for many, many years. I live a block over from it.
Yes, as a gym. Yep.
Yeah, as long as it's described in the ordinance, the entire property, I just thought it was odd that it had part of in the title. So as long as it doesn't affect the ordinance itself, I don't think we need to rewrite it.
I don't know if this would make any difference or not, but that land over there on that side of Diedrich was like, we were like grandfathered in one time. We were the only people over there, there wasn't houses across from us or anything. So for a long time, we had to call the county if we needed assistance, and the people across the street called the city. So kind of got wacky there for a little while.
I think when we annex that area, and you can probably speak to this better than me, Mr. Long.
When Blooming Ridge was
It was left
annexed
as
in,
kind of an island.
This was
right
taken
there.
into.
That's always been an island out there for
Yeah.
years and years and years. We didn't do anything on it until the legislature passed the state statute that gave us the ability to be able to bring islands in. As a matter of fact, we were
Yeah.
forced at that point to bring islands in, and it was brought in at the same time that Blooming Ridge was, but
Yeah.
that's the reason it was out there. That's the reason she was having the trouble that she's having. I'm going to go ahead and make a motion to waive the second and third reading on this. I think since it has operated basically as a commercial concern out there for years, I don't see where we're changing anything for the community. On it, other, we're just trying to legalize what the use has been, as I see it.
I second.
He did say suspend second and third, didn't he?
Yes.
Okay, I got a motion from Ed, a second from Brandon to suspend the second and third reading of ordinance number 15 of 2021. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all in favor, roll call vote, please, Tammy.
Reed,
Yes.
Weber,
Yes.
Waymack,
Yes.
Long,
Yes.
Jones,
Yes.
Red,
Yes.
Hillenberg,
Yes.
Coe.
Yes.
Passes 8-0.
I make a motion that we adopt ordinance 15 of 2021.
Second.
I got a motion from from James, a second from Ron to adopt ordinance number 15 of 2021. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, roll call vote, please, Tammy.
Reed,
Yes.
Weber,
Yes.
Waymack,
Yes.
Long,
Yes.
Jones,
Yes.
Red,
Yes.
Hillenberg,
Yes.
Coe.
Yes.
Thank you. So you're okay with, it passes, but it'll be 30 days before it becomes law? Are you good with that? Okay.
If I do get a seller, then I will be able to tell them 30 days.
It's officially 01. Yes, ma'am.
I mean, a buyer, not a seller.
Well, maybe you can get another seller. The buyer becomes a seller real quick, and they flip it for you. Okay, next item is ordinance number 16 of 2021.
Ordinance number 16 of 2021, an ordinance to permit council members, officials, and/or municipal employees to do business with the city of Cabot, authorizing the mayor and city clerk treasurer to enter into an agreement with Red River Dodge for a four-wheel drive regular cab dump truck, declaring an emergency and for other purposes. First reading.
Thank you, Tammy. And what this was we had this in the budget at the end of 20 for $80,000, and the bids came in well under that. So we're asking for permission to get this new truck for the street department.
Should we waive the second and third? Because these vehicles are going to be hard to come by.
Yeah, they are, and if we order it today, we might not get it for 4 or 5 months because
He said they order at the end of June, and we will have it by October.
Okay. So yes, if we could.
Mayor, may I inquire of Ben just a moment?
Of course you can.
Ben, could you explain the title to me, please? Why is it permit council members, officials, and our municipal employees do business with the city of Cabot? Do we have somebody working out there? Does a salesman that employ the city? I don't understand the title.
No, sir, that's a very good question. What that is me being abundantly cautious on these things. Mitch Ward is the owner of Red River Dodge. He's also on the Planning Commission. Because the Planning Commission draws a salary, they are paid by the city. You could be argued they are a city employee. At least that's how legislative audit takes it. And so I wouldn't want us to conflict there. Out of abundance of caution, I think it would be best to waive any conflict that might exist there.
And I thought that's probably what it was. I just wanted to see if mine and your mind was somewhere in the same neighborhood. Where are we on that, Mayor? I interrupted you, and I'm sorry.
You're fine. We need a suspension of the second and third if we can, so we get this truck ordered.
I'll make a motion to suspend second, third reading.
I'll second.
I got a motion from Ed, a second from Stephen to suspend the second and third reading of ordinance number 16 of 2021. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, roll call vote, please, Tammy.
Weber,
Yes.
Waymack,
Yes.
Long,
Yes.
Jones,
Yes.
Red,
Yes.
Hillenberg,
Yes.
Coe,
Yes.
Reed.
Yes.
Passes 8-0.
I make a motion we adopt 16 of 2021.
Second.
I got a motion from Ed, a second from Michael, to adopt number 16 of 2021. Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor, roll call vote, please, Tammy.
Weber,
Yes.
Waymack,
Yes.
Long,
Yes.
Jones,
Yes.
Red,
Yes.
Hillenberg,
Yes.
Coe,
Yes.
Reed.
Yes.
Passes 8-0.
Mayor, since this was already a budgeted item, since the council had already worked the budget and approved this, I'm going to go ahead and make a motion to adopt the emergency clause on it.
Second.
I got a motion by Ed, a second from Michael, to adopt the emergency clause for ordinance number 16 of 2021. Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor, roll call vote, please, Tammy.
Weber,
Yes.
Waymack,
Yes.
Long,
Yes, ma'am.
Jones,
Yes.
Red,
Yes.
Hillenberg,
Yes.
Coe,
Yes.
Reed.
Yes.
Passes 8-0. Next item is item D, resolution number 34 of 2021.
Number 34 of 2021, a resolution authorizing the mayor and city clerk treasurer to enter into an agreement with Half Associates for professional design services for West Main Street streetscape and Second Street sidewalk improvements, and for other purposes.
What this is going to be for is right in front of City Hall, the old Main Street that used to T-bone into City Hall, and then going towards Sonic and towards the light to make it like the rest of streetscape. And we're trying to include it with our other large grant on streetscape, and it gives us the ability to combine those, and we've been working with the Metro Plan on this. So it finishes up part of our city overall plan that y'all did years ago in 12 or 13, I think it is, to finish that up. Help me, Joe, what was the plan we did?
First phase,
It was, the one that showed all the sidewalks and the trees and the, what was that called?
it was streetscape phase 1, phase 2, and this is all phase 3.
Okay, I thought the plan was called something else that we paid for, that the council in the past paid for. Like, not walkable Cabot, but, okay. Ed, you may have to help me out here. Do you remember what that was called?
Yeah, it's walkable Cabot, this generated out of the first walkable Cabot, then we decided walkable Cabot again in 17 to add parks and rec stuff to it. But yes, it's part of
Yes.
it, but it's streetscape phase 3 is what it'll be. Then we couldn't touch that because that was a state highway.
That's right.
Like this. And,
So since it's going to become our street, we're going to go ahead and apply for it so we can finish that up. Anyway, so that's what we're asking for permission to do.
Make a motion, we adopt number 34, 2021.
I'll second.
I got a motion by Ed, a second from Brandon to adopt resolution 34 of 2021. Any discussion?
Will this be funded by the same federal sources? that we-
Yes, we'll be under the 80-20 grant.
Perfect.
Yes. That's our plan. Yes. Yes, we always like to use our money wisely. Any other discussion? Seeing none, roll call vote, please, Tammy.
Coe,
Yes.
Reed,
Yes.
Weber,
Yes.
Waymack,
Yes.
Long,
Yes.
Jones,
Yes.
Red,
Yes.
Hillenberg.
Yes.
Passes 8-0. Next item, item E, resolution number 35 of 2021.
Number 35 of 2021, a resolution authorizing the mayor and city clerk treasurer to enter into an agreement with Howard Technology Solutions for Cabot Police Department equipment and installation in vehicles to amend the 2021 annual operating budget and for other purposes.
And this is the resolution that Captain Steele spoke on earlier.
I'll make a motion we adopt Resolution 35 of 21.
I'll second.
Got a motion from Steve and a second by James to adopt resolution number 35 of 2021. Any discussion? All in favor, roll call vote, please, Tammy.
Hillenberg,
Yes.
Cope,
Yes.
Reed,
Yes.
Weber,
Yes.
Waymack,
Yes.
Long,
Yes.
Jones,
Yes.
Red.
Yes.
Passes 8-0. Any other new business, council?
Mayor, I think we're going to need the emergency clause on this, speaking with him earlier.
It's a resolution.
Okay.
We're good. Thank you, though. Any other items of new business? Seeing none, community input. Now's your time to come to the mic, state your name, and if you're from Cabot, and if you have any business with the council and the mayor. Seeing none, can I get a motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
I got a motion by Michael, a second from James to adjourn. All in favor, say aye.
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 Adjourn 7:27. Thanks, everybody, for coming.